God save me from this bush. Oh Lord, this is dangerously bush. Who can help me now? I need help.
Wake up, you are already safe from dangerous bush.
The gunshot echoed through the forest. Prince Alexander stumbled forward, blood seeping through his designer shirt, his vision blurring. Behind him, angry voices shouted commands. He had to keep running. Just one more step. Then another. Until his legs gave out and darkness claimed him. When he opened his eyes, he saw her, a young woman with paint-stained fingers and concerned eyes, kneeling beside him in a cramped apartment. He tried to speak, to warn her of the danger she was in just by helping him, but no words came. "You're safe now," she whispered. But they both knew that wasn't true. Not anymore. To enjoy this story, watch it full, don't miss it, very important, and share it to many people so we can learn. Please comment and let me know in the comment what did you learn about the story. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and share it with your friends, and most important thing, turn your notification bell so you can get informed when I dropped another amazing story. Drop your thoughts and reactions in the comments. What would you do if your spouse tried to kill you and you survive? Will you take a revenge or disappear forever? Maya Santos lived in a 5th-floor walk-up in the heart of Metro Manila. The building was old, with cracked paint peeling from the hallways and a temperamental elevator that rarely worked. But the apartment she shared with her aunt was home. The walls were covered with her artwork, vibrant paintings of Manila sunsets, portraits of street vendors, and abstract pieces that captured the chaos and beauty of city life. Maya was a graphic designer, though freelancer was a more accurate term. She took whatever projects came her way. Logos for small businesses, social media graphics, the occasional wedding invitation design. It wasn't glamorous, but it paid the bills. Most months, anyway. Her aunt, Tita Rosa, had raised her since she was 12, when Maya's parents died in a ferry accident. Tita Rosa worked as a seamstress, her skilled hands creating beautiful garments for wealthy clients. But recently, arthritis had been making it harder for her to work, and medical bills were piling up. "Maya, you should eat something," Tita Rosa called from the small kitchen, where she was preparing their simple dinner of rice and dried fish. "In a minute, Tita," Maya replied, her eyes fixed on her laptop screen. She was finishing a logo design for a new coffee shop, racing to meet a deadline. The client promised to pay upon delivery, and they desperately needed that money. As she worked, Maya's mind wandered to her dreams. She wanted to be a real artist, to have her paintings displayed in galleries, to maybe even teach art to underprivileged children. But dreams didn't pay for medicine or rent. Reality was her small desk, her aging laptop, and projects that barely covered their expenses. "Done," she announced, hitting send on the email. The logo wasn't her most creative work, but it was professional and delivered on time. Tita Rosa smiled at her from the kitchen doorway. "You work too hard, Anak. Someone has to take care of us," Maya said, standing to stretch her stiff muscles. Through their small window, she could see the sprawling city below, lights beginning to twinkle as evening approached. Tomorrow, she'd promised to help at the community center, teaching basic art skills to neighborhood children. It didn't pay anything, but it filled her heart in a way her client work never could. As she ate dinner with her aunt, watching their small television, the news anchor's voice cut through their quiet conversation. "Prince Alexander Richmond, heir to the Richmond business empire, remains missing after yesterday's shocking attack on the outskirts of Manila. Police are investigating." Maya barely paid attention. The lives of wealthy princes and their problems felt worlds away from her own struggles. She had no idea how wrong she was. Maya woke before dawn to the sound of rain hammering against their tin roof. She groaned, knowing this meant the community center session would probably be cancelled. The children's parents wouldn't let them walk in this weather. Since she had the morning free, she decided to take a walk to the nearby Quezon City Memorial Circle once the rain stopped. The park was one of her favorite places to sketch, especially in the early morning when it was quiet. By 7 a.m., the rain had reduced to a light drizzle. Maya grabbed her backpack with her sketchbook and pencils, left a note for her still sleeping aunt, and headed out. The memorial park was eerily empty. The usual joggers and Tai Chi practitioners had stayed home. Maya found her favorite spot under a large acacia tree and pulled out her sketchbook. She began drawing the misty landscape, her pencil moving quickly across the paper. That's when she heard it, a low groan, almost like an animal in pain. Maya froze, her pencil hovering above the page. The sound came again, weaker this time, from a cluster of bushes about 20 meters away. Her heart raced. Every instinct told her to leave, to get to safety. But the sound was so desperate, so human. "Hello," she called out, her voice shaky. "Is someone there?" Silence. Then another groan. Maya slowly approached the bushes, her phone clutched in her hand, ready to call for help. She pushed aside the wet branches and gasped. A man lay crumpled on the muddy ground, his expensive suit torn and dirty. His face was pale, twisted in pain, and his left arm was soaked with blood. He was barely conscious. "Oh my God," Maya whispered. She dropped to her knees beside him, her art training kicking in. She'd taken anatomy classes and knew basic first aid. The wound on his arm looked serious, possibly a gunshot. The man's eyes fluttered open, unfocused and glazed with pain. "Please," he whispered. "Help. They're coming." Maya made a split-second decision. She couldn't call an ambulance. If someone was after him, they might be monitoring hospitals. And the police? He seemed terrified, which meant whoever was after him might have connections. "Can you walk?" she asked urgently. He tried to nod, but couldn't manage it. Maya was small, barely 5'2", but adrenaline gave her strength. She got his good arm over her shoulder and somehow managed to help him to his feet. He was much taller and heavier, and every step was agony for both of them. "My apartment isn't far," she panted. "Just hold on." It took nearly 30 minutes to walk what should have been a 10-minute journey. By the time they reached her building, both were soaked in sweat and rain. The wounded man was barely conscious, and Maya's muscles screamed in protest. Getting him up 5 flights of stairs was a nightmare. She had to stop every few steps, propping him against the wall while she caught her breath. On the 3rd floor, Mrs. Chen from 3B opened her door and stared. "Everything okay, Maya?" "My cousin," Maya lied quickly. "Too much drinking." "I've got him." Mrs. Chen looked skeptical but shut her door. Finally, they reached her apartment. Maya fumbled with her keys, praying her aunt was still asleep. The door swung open, and she half-dragged the stranger inside, managing to get him to the old sofa before he completely collapsed. His wound was still bleeding. Maya grabbed clean towels from the bathroom and pressed them against his arm. His eyes opened briefly, focusing on her face. "Thank you," he whispered before losing consciousness. Maya sat back on her heels, suddenly realizing the magnitude of what she'd just done. She'd brought a bleeding stranger into her home, someone who was apparently running from dangerous people. She'd potentially put herself and Tita Rosa in terrible danger. But looking at his pale face, peaceful now in unconsciousness, she couldn't regret it. Someone needed help, and she'd given it. That's what her parents had taught her, to be kind, even when it was hard. "Who are you?" she whispered to the unconscious man. She had no idea she was looking at the face that had been plastered all over the news. Prince Alexander Richmond, the missing heir everyone was searching for. Maya spent the next 2 hours in a state of controlled panic. She cleaned and bandaged the stranger's wound as best she could with their limited first aid supplies, then sat watching him, praying he wouldn't die on her sofa. When Tita Rosa emerged from her bedroom, stretching and yawning, Maya nearly jumped out of her skin. "Good morning, Anak. Why are you up so?" Her aunt stopped dead, staring at the unconscious man on their sofa. "Maya Beatriz Santos. Who is that?" Maya stood quickly, positioning herself between her aunt and the stranger. "Tita, I can explain. I found him in the park, injured. He needed help." "So you brought him here?" Tita Rosa's voice rose. "Maya, he could be dangerous. He could be a criminal. Or he could be someone in trouble who needs help," Maya countered. "Look at him, Tita." Those are expensive clothes. That watch alone could feed us for a year. He's not some street criminal. Tita Rosa moved closer, examining the stranger's face. Her expression shifted from anger to concern. That wound. Maya, is that from a gun? I think so. Then we need to call the police. No. Maya grabbed her aunt's arm. He said, they're coming. He's scared, Tita. What if the people after him are worse than whatever he's running from? Tita Rosa looked torn. Finally, she sighed deeply. You have your mother's heart. Too kind for your own good. She studied the stranger's pale face. We'll help him, but only until he wakes up and can tell us what's happening. Then we decide. Thank you, Tita. Together, they moved the stranger to Maya's small bedroom. It had better light and was away from the windows. Tita Rosa, with her years of caring for Maya and her own elderly mother, took over the nursing duties. She brewed traditional herbal tea that would help fight infection and reduce fever. Where did you learn this? Maya asked, watching her aunt work. My Lola taught me. Before modern medicine, this is what we had. Tita Rosa carefully spooned liquid between the man's lips. These old remedies still work. Maya sat by his bedside while her aunt prepared soup. The stranger's face was striking. Strong features, probably around 30 years old, with dark hair that fell across his forehead. Even unconscious and injured, there was something regal about him. She pulled out her sketchbook and began to draw, her pencil capturing the angles of his face, the way the morning light fell across his features. Drawing always calmed her nerves. By afternoon, his fever had spiked dangerously high. Maya and Tita Rosa took turns applying cold compresses to his forehead. They worked in worried silence, both thinking the same thing. What if he didn't make it? Please don't die, Maya whispered, pressing a fresh cloth to his burning forehead. I didn't drag you up 5 flights of stairs just to have you die in my bedroom. As if responding to her plea, his eyes fluttered open. They were dark brown, confused, and filled with pain. Where? He croaked. You're safe, Maya said quickly. You're in my apartment. I found you in the park. You were hurt. He tried to sit up but fell back with a groan. How long? About 8 hours. You've been unconscious. Maya helped him drink some water. What's your name? He hesitated, his eyes studying her face. Alex, he said finally. Call me Alex. I'm Maya. That's my aunt, Tita Rosa. Maya gestured to her aunt, who stood in the doorway, arms crossed, evaluating their unexpected guest. You were shot. Do you remember what happened? Ambush, Alex said, his voice stronger now. Men. They tried to. He stopped, seeming to realize he was revealing too much. Thank you for helping me. But you should know, I might have put you in danger. We figured, Tita Rosa said dryly, moving into the room with a bowl of soup. Which is why you're going to eat this, regain your strength, and then tell us exactly what kind of trouble you've brought to our home. Alex managed a weak smile. Yes, ma'am. As Maya watched him eat, carefully spooning the soup into his mouth, she noticed his hands, not rough from labor, but smooth, well manicured. The watch on his wrist, even dirt-covered, was clearly expensive. Everything about him screamed wealth and privilege. What was a man like this doing running for his life in a park in Quezon City? And why did she feel this strange pull toward him, this need to protect someone she didn't even know? For 3 days, Alex remained hidden in Maya's small apartment. His fever broke on the 2nd day, and by the 3rd, he was strong enough to walk around the small bedroom, though his arms still caused him considerable pain. Maya continued with her freelance work, but found herself constantly distracted. She'd steal glances at her bedroom door, wondering about the mysterious man on the other side. Tita Rosa had warmed to him slightly. He was unfailingly polite and insisted on helping despite his injury, even if it was just folding laundry with one hand. You don't have to do that, Maya said, finding him awkwardly folding towels on the afternoon of the 3rd day. I need to do something. I feel useless. Alex set down a towel with his good hand. And I owe you both so much. Maya sat beside him on the sofa. What happened to you, Alex? Really? He was quiet for a long moment. It's complicated. Try me. I did save your life. I think I deserve the truth. Alex studied her face, seeming to wage an internal battle. Finally, he spoke. My full name is Alexander Richmond. I'm the prince, Maya interrupted, her eyes wide. The missing heir. Oh my God. I knew you looked familiar. Alex looked stricken. You knew. Not until just now, but I saw you on the news. Everyone's looking for you. Maya stood up, pacing. This is huge. Do you know how worried your family must be? I know, Alex said quietly. But I can't go back yet. Not until I figure out who ordered the attack. What do you mean? Alex took a deep breath and told her everything, about his arranged engagement to Victoria Chen, daughter of his family's business partner. About his objections and his impulsive decision to drive away alone. About the white van that had followed him and the deliberate ambush. My driver died protecting me, he said, his voice thick with emotion. Peter was a good man. He had a wife, kids. And he died because I was running away from my responsibilities. Maya sat back down, her hand instinctively reaching for his. That wasn't your fault. Wasn't it? If I'd just accepted the engagement, done what was expected of me. Then you'd be trapped in a loveless marriage, and someone would have found another way to get to you. Maya squeezed his hand. You can't live your life for other people's expectations, even if you're a prince. Alex looked at their joined hands, then up at her face. How did someone like you end up saving someone like me? Wrong place, right time? Maya smiled. Or maybe right place, right time. Depends on how you look at it. That evening, while Tita Rosa was at her evening rosary with the building's elderly ladies, Maya and Alex sat by the window, looking out at the city lights. What's it like? Maya asked. Being a prince. Alex laughed bitterly. It's a cage made of gold. Every decision is scrutinized. Every relationship is strategic. I have everything anyone could want, except freedom. I grew up with nothing, Maya said softly. My parents died when I was 12. Tita Rosa took me in, but we've always struggled. I work constantly just to make ends meet. Sometimes I'm so tired I forget what it's like to create art just for the joy of it. She paused. But I'm free to choose. Free to dream. Maybe that's worth more than gold. It is, Alex said with certainty. It absolutely is. Their eyes met, and something shifted in the air between them. Maya felt her heart skip a beat. Can I see more of your work? Alex asked, breaking the tension. Maya hesitated, then retrieved her portfolio. She watched nervously as Alex flipped through her paintings and sketches. Street scenes, portraits, abstract pieces that captured emotions rather than reality. These are incredible, he said, genuine awe in his voice. This one especially. He held up a painting of a street child selling flowers, her smile brilliant despite her worn clothes. You capture dignity. Humanity. That's rare. Thank you, Maya whispered, unused to such sincere praise. Have you ever displayed these? I can't afford gallery fees. And besides, who would want to see paintings by an unknown graphic designer from Quezon City? I would, Alex said firmly. And so would hundreds of other people, if they had the chance. Looking at him, this prince who'd literally fallen into her life, Maya felt something dangerous blooming in her chest. Hope. Not just for him, but for herself and for possibilities she'd never dared to imagine. At the Richmond estate in Forbes Park, Manila's most exclusive neighborhood, panic had transformed into grim determination. Alexander's mother, Catherine Richmond, sat in her late husband's study, coordinating with police commissioners, private investigators, and security experts. It's been 5 days, she said, her voice sharp despite her exhaustion. 5 days and no ransom demand. No body, no trace. Where is my son? Police Commissioner Reyes shifted uncomfortably. Ma'am, we've found surveillance footage of the white van. We're tracking its movements. Then track faster, Catherine snapped. She dismissed him with a wave and turned to her daughter, Sophia, who stood by the window. And you? Have you contacted every hospital, every clinic? Yes, Mother. Nothing. Sophia, younger than Alexander by 3 years, looked devastated. What if we never find him? Don't say that. Catherine's mask cracked slightly. Your brother is alive. I feel it. Across the city, in the Chen family's penthouse, Victoria Chen stared at her reflection in her vanity mirror. She was beautiful, everyone said so, with her designer clothes and perfect makeup. But beauty didn't fill the emptiness inside. Her mother, Linda Chen, burst into the room. The police still have no leads. This is a disaster for the merger. Victoria spun around. A disaster for the merger? Mother, Alexander could be dead. Don't be dramatic. The boy probably ran off to blow off steam. He'll turn up. Linda checked her phone. But every day he's missing is another day the stock prices drop. Our families have too much invested in this union. I never wanted to marry him anyway, Victoria said quietly. What you want is irrelevant. This marriage secures our future. Linda's phone buzzed. I have to take this. The shareholders are panicking. Alone again, Victoria returned to her reflection. She'd known Alexander since childhood. Their families had been intertwined for decades. She'd agreed to the engagement because it was expected, because it made sense on paper. But she'd also seen the look in Alexander's eyes when the engagement was announced. The way his jaw had tightened, his smile forced. He'd looked like a man watching his prison door close. She'd felt the same way. Her phone buzzed with a message from her best friend. Coffee tomorrow? You sound stressed. Victoria smiled sadly. Her friend didn't know about the secret she was keeping. The real reason she'd agreed to marry a man she didn't love. Some cages, she'd learned, were made by your own choices. Meanwhile, Maya was discovering that hiding a prince was harder than she'd anticipated. Her building's gossip network was legendary, and Mrs. Chen from 3B had been giving her suspicious looks. Maya dear, Mrs. Chen cornered her at the mailboxes. I haven't seen your cousin leave. Is he feeling better? Much better, Mrs. Chen. He'll be leaving soon. Good, good. You know, he looks familiar. Has he been on television? Maya's heart raced. He's got one of those faces. Very common. Back in the apartment, Alex was growing restless. I need to contact my family, he said, watching the evening news coverage of his disappearance. They must be going crazy. Your phone was destroyed in the attack, Tita Rosa reminded him. And we can't risk using ours. Calls can be traced. Then I'll go to them. It's time. Not yet, Maya argued. Whoever tried to kill you is still out there. The moment you resurface, you're a target again. So what do I do? Hide here forever. Just a few more days. Let the police investigation progress. Let whoever ordered this think they succeeded. Maya grabbed his good hand. Please, Alex. I didn't save your life just to have you throw it away. Alex looked at their joined hands, then at Maya's worried face. Something had changed between them over the past few days. The way she laughed at his stories, the way he watched her work, the accidental touches that lingered too long. Okay, he conceded. A few more days. That night, unable to sleep, Alex found Maya on the small balcony, sketching by moonlight. Can't sleep either, she asked. Too much thinking. He sat beside her, their shoulders almost touching. Maya, when this is over, when I go back to my life. I know, she interrupted gently. You're a prince. I'm nobody. This is just a moment in time. You're not nobody, Alex said fiercely. You're the most remarkable person I've ever met. Before either could overthink it, he leaned in and kissed her. Maya's sketchbook fell forgotten to the floor as she kissed him back, months of loneliness and years of dreams melting into this one perfect, impossible moment. When they finally broke apart, both were breathless. This is a terrible idea, Maya whispered. The worst, Alex agreed, pulling her closer. Absolutely disastrous. They kissed again, two people from different worlds, stealing a moment that could never last. Maya woke up the next morning with Alex's arm draped across her waist. They'd fallen asleep talking on the balcony, wrapped in an old blanket, watching the city lights fade into dawn. Reality hit her like cold water. What was she doing? This wasn't some fairy tale. This was real life, and real life didn't pair graphic designers from Quezon City with princes from Forbes Park. She carefully extracted herself from his embrace and went inside. Tita Rosa was already up, preparing breakfast, and one look at Maya's face told her everything. Anak, her aunt said gently, you have feelings for him. It doesn't matter, Maya said, her voice thick. In a few days, he'll go back to his world, and I'll go back to mine. Hearts don't care about worlds, Tita Rosa said wisely. But they do care about truth. Have you told him about your parents? About your life? Some. Not everything. And he's told you about his? Maya hesitated. Alex had shared about feeling trapped, about the arranged marriage. But there was so much she didn't know. Not everything. Then you're both living in a fantasy. Reality will come knocking soon enough. Reality came knocking that afternoon. Literally. Maya was at her desk, working on a logo design, when urgent knocking startled her. Through the peephole, she saw her friend Patricia, breathless and wide-eyed. Patricia, what? Turn on the news, Patricia said, pushing past her into the apartment. Right now. On the television screen, a press conference was underway. Catherine Richmond stood at a podium, her face composed but her eyes red-rimmed. We are offering a 5 million peso reward for any information leading to the safe return of my son, Alexander Richmond, she said, her voice breaking slightly. Please, if anyone knows anything, anything at all. Beside her stood Victoria Chen, perfectly composed in a black designer suit, playing the role of grieving fiancé. Alexander, if you can hear this, please come home. We love you. We need you. Maya felt sick. The woman was beautiful, poised, everything a princess should be. Everything Maya wasn't. That's his fiancé, Patricia whispered. Can you imagine being engaged to a prince and then he just vanishes? I'd be devastated. From the bedroom, Alex appeared, drawn by the television. He stared at the screen, at Victoria's carefully constructed grief, and Maya saw something flash across his face. Guilt. Obligation. Patricia turned and screamed. Oh my God. That's the prince. Everything happened at once. Patricia's phone was in her hand, ready to dial. Alex stepped forward, hands raised. Tita Rosa emerged from the kitchen, and Maya made a split-second decision. She grabbed Patricia's phone. Wait. Please, just wait. Maya, that's the missing prince. There's a reward. We could get him killed, Maya interrupted. Patricia, please. Sit down. Let me explain. It took an hour to tell the whole story. Patricia listened, her eyes growing wider with each detail. When Maya finished, her friend sat back, processing. So you've been hiding a prince in your apartment for a week. 6 days, Maya corrected. And you have feelings for him. That's not. Don't lie to me. I've known you since high school. I can see it on your face. Patricia turned to Alex. And you? What about Victoria Chen? That woman on TV who's supposedly your fiancé. Alex ran his good hand through his hair. It's an arranged engagement. A business merger. I barely know her. But you're engaged. Technically. There's no technically in engagement, Your Highness. Patricia stood up. Look, I'm not going to call the police. But you need to figure out your life. And Maya, she turned to her friend, you need to protect your heart. This story doesn't end well for the poor girl. After Patricia left, sworn to secrecy, an uncomfortable silence filled the apartment. She's right, Maya said finally. You need to go back. I will. Soon. How soon? Because every day you stay here, my aunt and I are lying to everyone. Every day you stay here She stopped herself. You what? I fall deeper into something that's impossible, Maya admitted, tears threatening. You have a fiancé, Alex. A beautiful, perfect fiancé who's probably worried sick. You have a family, a fortune, a throne to inherit. And I have a fifth-floor walk-up and a student loan debt. Alex moved toward her, but Maya stepped back. The kiss last night was a mistake, she said, her voice breaking. A beautiful mistake, but still a mistake. Before Alex could respond, his phone, repaired by Maya's tech-savvy neighbor, buzzed with a message. His face went pale as he read it. What is it? Maya asked. A message from my head of security. He's found something about the attack. Alex looked up, his eyes dark with anger. And it's worse than I thought. Alex stared at his phone, rereading the encrypted message from Marcus, his head of security and most trusted ally. The words seemed impossible, yet the evidence was there. The attack was ordered from inside your own company. Financial records show payments to the mercenaries from a shell corporation linked to Victoria Chen's family. No, Alex whispered. That can't be right. Maya, who had been keeping her distance, moved closer. What's wrong? Alex showed her the message. Maya's eyes widened as she read. Your fiancé tried to have you killed? Or her family did? Alex began pacing, his mind racing. But why? The marriage benefits both families. Unless there's something about you being dead that benefits them more, Tita Rosa said from the doorway. Despite being uneducated in business matters, she understood human nature. Power and money make people do terrible things. Alex called Marcus immediately, putting the phone on speaker. Your Highness, thank God. Marcus's voice was thick with relief. Where are you? Somewhere safe. Tell me everything about the Chen family's involvement. Marcus explained what his investigation had uncovered. Victoria's family was drowning in debt. The public image of wealth was a facade. Bad investments and corrupt business deals had left them bankrupt. The merger with the Richmond Empire was supposed to save them. But the terms of the merger agreement state that if you were to die before the wedding, the Richmond Company would absorb Chen Industries completely to honor the agreement, Marcus continued. Your mother would get control of both companies. And Mrs. Linda Chen has been embezzling from the combined assets. So if I die, my mother takes over, Chen Industries is absorbed, and the embezzlement is covered up in the merger chaos, Alex said slowly. But if I live and marry Victoria, the merger proceeds normally, and eventually someone discovers the missing money. Exactly. Mrs. Chen needed you dead to hide her crimes. Does Victoria know? Alex asked, though he dreaded the answer. Marcus hesitated. We're not certain, but communications suggest she was aware. I'm sorry, Your Highness. After the call ended, Alex slumped onto the sofa, his world crumbling. He'd never loved Victoria, but he'd known her since childhood. The idea that she'd been complicit in an attempt to murder him was devastating. Maya sat beside him, no longer maintaining her distance. I'm sorry. I was so stupid. Running away like a child instead of confronting my problems. You wanted freedom, Maya said gently. That's not stupid. It's human. Alex looked at her. This woman who'd saved him, protected him, seen him as just a man named Alex. You would never do something like this. I would never have the opportunity, Maya said with a sad smile. I don't move in circles where murdering for profit is an option. Despite everything, Alex laughed. That's one advantage of poverty. There are others, Maya said softly. Like knowing that people care about you for who you are, not what you're worth. Their eyes met, and the connection that had been building between them sparked to life again. Maya, A crash from outside interrupted him. Tita Rosa, who'd been watching from the window, gasped. There are men outside. Getting out of a van. Alex's face went cold. They found me. Everything happened fast. Maya grabbed her phone and keys while Tita Rosa shoved important documents into her purse. Alex was already at the door, peering through the peephole. 3 men. Armed. They're checking apartment doors. The fire escape, Maya said, pulling Alex toward her bedroom window. It leads to the building behind us. They could hear heavy footsteps in the hallway now, the men systematically knocking on doors. Neighbors were opening their doors, confused and frightened. Maya went first down the rusty fire escape, followed by Tita Rosa, then Alex, his injured arm making the climb awkward and painful. They'd just reached the second-floor landing when they heard their apartment door being kicked in. Go, Alex urged, but his foot slipped on the wet metal. He caught himself, but the clang echoed in the alley. Above them, a face appeared at Maya's bedroom window. One of the men. There on the fire escape. Maya's heart pounded as they scrambled down the rest of the ladder. They dropped into the alley just as footsteps thundered down the fire escape after them. This way. Maya grabbed Alex's hand and ran, pulling him through the maze of alleys she'd known since childhood. Tita Rosa, despite her age and arthritis, kept pace, fueled by adrenaline. Behind them, shouts and footsteps echoed off the narrow walls. The hunters were close, and Maya was running out of places to hide. They burst out of the alley onto a busy street. Maya frantically waved down a jeepney, Manila's iconic public transport. Please, she begged the driver, we need to go. Now. Anywhere. The driver saw the terror in her eyes and the armed men emerging from the alley. Without a word, he gunned the engine, and they lurched into traffic, leaving their pursuers behind in a cloud of exhaust. For now, they were safe. But Maya knew their luck was running out. The jeepney dropped them off in Makati, Manila's business district. Lost in the crowd of office workers and tourists, Maya finally allowed herself to breathe. We can't go back to my apartment, she said, stating the obvious. Everything she owned was there. Her laptop, her art supplies, her entire life. Go to my estate, Alex said. You'll be safe there. No, Tita Rosa said firmly. If those men found us once, they can find us again. Whoever is tracking the prince has resources. Alex's phone buzzed. Marcus again. Your Highness, where are you? There's been an attack at. The line went dead. Alex tried calling back repeatedly. Nothing. They're jamming signals or Marcus is. Maya couldn't finish the sentence. They needed somewhere secure, somewhere unexpected. Maya's mind raced through options. Then it hit her. I know a place. My friend Dante's art studio in Quezon City. It's in an old warehouse. No one would think to look there. Dante was Maya's friend from art school, one of the few people who'd believed in her talent. He'd converted an old warehouse space into a studio and sometimes let struggling artists use it. They took 2 different jeepneys and a taxi, constantly checking over their shoulders. Finally, they arrived at a run-down building in an industrial area. Dante answered on the 3rd knock, his paint-stained clothes and suspicious expression softening when he saw Maya. Maya, what's going on? I need a huge favor. Can we stay here? Just for tonight. Dante's eyes moved from Maya to Tita Rosa to Alex, who'd pulled his hood low. Recognition flickered across Dante's face. He'd seen the news, but he simply nodded and opened the door wider. Mi cosa es su cosa. The studio was a large open space with artwork in various stages of completion, a small kitchen area, and a loft where Dante slept. It smelled of paint, turpentine, and creativity. Make yourselves comfortable, Dante said, pulling out sleeping bags. I'm assuming you can't tell me what's happening. The less you know, the safer you are, Maya said. Dante nodded, grabbed his jacket, and headed for the door. I'm going out for supplies. Food, water, a prepaid phone. I'll be back in an hour. He paused at the door. Maya, whatever trouble you're in, I hope you know what you're doing. After he left, the weight of their situation settled over them. Tita Rosa immediately set about making the space comfortable, her need to stay busy obvious. Alex and Maya stood awkwardly in the center of the studio. I'm sorry, Alex said finally. I've destroyed your life. You didn't destroy it, Maya countered. You complicated it. There's a difference. Your apartment, your work, everything can be replaced. You can't. Maya moved closer to him. Alex, when I found you in that park, I made a choice. I chose to help. I'd make the same choice again. Even now. Knowing everything. Especially now. Alex pulled her into his arms, his good arm wrapping around her waist, his injured one resting gently on her back. You're extraordinary, you know that? I'm ordinary. You're just used to shallow people. He laughed despite everything. How can you make me laugh at a time like this? Because life is terrible and wonderful at the same time. We might as well enjoy the wonderful parts. When Dante returned with supplies, he also brought news. Your face is everywhere, he told Alex, showing them his phone. Your mother's held another press conference. The reward's been doubled. And, he hesitated, Victoria Chen gave an interview. She's saying she knows you're alive because you're too strong to die. She's playing the devoted fiancé perfectly. Alex's jaw tightened. She's probably the one who ordered those men to find me. So what's the plan? Dante asked. I need to expose her, Alex said. I need to go public with what Marcus found. But Marcus isn't responding, Maya pointed out. Then I contact the police directly. Commissioner Reyes is honest. My father worked with him for years. They spent the next few hours planning. Using Dante's prepaid phone, Alex recorded a video statement explaining everything. The attack, the evidence of the Chen family's involvement, his safety, and his intention to return and face his responsibilities. But, he added, looking directly at the camera, I'm also here to say that I will not be marrying Victoria Chen. That arrangement is over. I intend to live my life on my own terms, and that begins now. Maya watched him record, her heart swelling with pride and breaking at the same time. This was the moment Alex reclaimed his life, and the moment he left hers. After sending the video to multiple media outlets and directly to Commissioner Reyes, they waited. The response was immediate and explosive. Within an hour, every news channel was covering Alex's statement. The Chen family's lawyers issued denials. Victoria gave a tearful interview claiming ignorance. The police issued a statement about investigating the allegations. And Catherine Richmond called her son directly. Alexander. His mother's voice was shaking with emotion. Thank God. Where are you? Somewhere safe. Mom, I'm coming home. But when I do, things are going to change. Anything. As long as you're home safe. The engagement to Victoria is off. Permanently. A pause. I understand. And there's someone I need you to meet. Someone important. Another pause. Who? Alex looked at Maya, who was sitting on the floor, her knees pulled to her chest, watching him with wide eyes. The woman I love. The Richmond estate was a fortress of security when Alex finally returned home. Police cars lined the circular driveway, and private security personnel were stationed at every entrance. Alex arrived in an armored vehicle provided by Commissioner Reyes, with Maya, Tita Rosa, and Dante in a separate car behind him. Catherine Richmond stood on the grand entrance steps, and when she saw her son, her carefully maintained composure shattered. She ran down the steps, something Maya had never seen a woman in a designer suit do, and pulled Alex into a fierce embrace. My son. My son, she kept repeating. Sophia appeared next, tears streaming down her face as she hugged her brother. For several minutes, it was just family, reuniting after a nightmare. Finally, Catherine stepped back, wiping her eyes. That's when she noticed the second car and the 3 people emerging from it. Mother, Alex said, his voice firm despite his nervousness. These are the people who saved my life. This is Rosa Santos, her niece Maya Santos, and their friend Dante Reyes. Catherine's eyes swept over them, their simple clothes, their obvious discomfort in this lavish setting. Her expression was unreadable. You saved my son's life, she said finally, approaching them. To everyone's surprise, she took Tita Rosa's hands in hers. I don't know how to thank you. We did what anyone should do, Tita Rosa said quietly. Catherine turned to Maya, studying her more intently. Maya met her gaze steadily, refusing to be intimidated even though her heart was pounding. You must be Maya, Catherine said softly. Alexander has told me about you. Your Highness, Maya said, remembering to use the formal title. Please, call me Catherine. Anyone who risked their life for my son deserves that courtesy. She gestured toward the mansion. Please, come inside. Your guests in this house. The interior of the Richmond estate was overwhelming. Marble floors, crystal chandeliers, artwork that probably cost more than Maya's entire apartment building. She felt hopelessly out of place. Sophia took charge of getting them settled. Let me show you to your rooms, she said warmly. You must be exhausted. As they followed Sophia up the grand staircase, Maya heard voices from another room. Through an open door, she glimpsed police officers interviewing someone. Commissioner Reyes emerged, saw Alex, and approached. Your Highness, we need your full statement. And I must inform you that we've taken Victoria Chan and her mother into custody. The evidence you provided, combined with what we've found, is substantial. What about Marcus? Alex asked urgently. He's in the hospital. Attacked, but he'll recover. He managed to send us all the files he'd compiled before they got to him. After giving his statement to the police, Alex found Maya in the guest room Sophia had assigned her. She was standing by the window, looking out at the manicured gardens. It's beautiful here, she said without turning around. It's empty, Alex replied. Always has been. Until now. Maya turned to face him. Alex, what are we doing? This, she gestured around the opulent room. This isn't my world. Then we'll make a new world. One that fits both of us. Your mother seems nice, but you can see it in her eyes. She's wondering what a graphic designer from Quezon City is doing in her son's life. She's wondering why I'm happier than she's ever seen me, Alex corrected. He moved closer, taking her hands. Maya, I know this is fast. I know this is crazy. But when someone tries to kill you, it tends to clarify what's important. What are you saying? I'm saying I don't want to go back to my old life. I don't want arranged marriages and business mergers and pretending to be something I'm not. He squeezed her hands. I want to be with someone who sees me, who knows me, who makes me want to be better. Alex, I'm not proposing. Not yet. We barely know each other, and you deserve a proper courtship. He smiled. But I'm saying I want to try. If you'll give us, a chance. Maya's eyes filled with tears. People will say I'm a gold digger. That I trapped a prince. Then we'll prove them wrong. Together. Your family might never accept me. My family doesn't get to choose my heart. I do. Maya looked at this man, this prince who'd stumbled into her life and turned everything upside down. She thought of all the reasons this was impossible, all the ways it could go wrong. Then she thought of how he looked at her, how he made her laugh, how he believed in her art when no one else had. She thought of the connection between them, rare and precious and real. Okay, she whispered. Let's try. Alex pulled her into his arms and kissed her, and for a moment, all the complications of their different worlds disappeared. There was just them, and the possibility of something beautiful. Downstairs, Catherine Richmond watched the security monitor that showed her son and Maya kissing in the guest room. She sighed, poured herself a glass of wine, and called her daughter. Sophia, it appears we're going to need to make some adjustments to our expectations. You mean about Maya? I mean about everything. Catherine took a sip of wine. Your brother is in love with her. Truly in love. I saw it in his eyes. And you're okay with that? Catherine was quiet for a long moment. Your father once told me that the measure of a person isn't their background or their bank account. It's how they treat others when they have nothing to gain. She set down her glass. That girl saved Alexander's life and asked for nothing in return. She protected him, risked everything for him. That shows character. So you'll accept her? I'll give her a chance to prove herself. And if she makes my son happy, I'll welcome her with open arms. Catherine smiled slightly. Besides, we could use some fresh blood in this family. Someone real. 3 months later, the Richmond Foundation held its inaugural gala at the National Museum of the Philippines. The event was the social highlight of Manila's season, but this gala was different. Instead of the usual donor appreciation dinner, this was a celebration of Filipino artists. Maya stood in the center of the museum's grand hall, surrounded by her artwork. 50 paintings and sketches, beautifully framed and lit, told stories of Manila's streets, its people, and its soul. The collection was titled Dignity, and it had drawn critics, collectors, and art lovers from across Asia. Nervous. Alex appeared beside her, looking devastatingly handsome in his tuxedo. Terrified, Maya admitted. She wore a simple but elegant gown, blue, her favorite color, designed specifically for her by a Filipino designer. Don't be. These paintings are extraordinary. He squeezed her hand. Just like the artist. Across the room, Catherine Richmond chatted with Manila's mayor, while Sophia had become fast friends with Maya, bonding over their shared exasperation with Alex's stubbornness. The past 3 months had been a whirlwind. After the truth about Victoria's family came out, the scandal had dominated headlines for weeks. Victoria and her mother faced multiple charges, including conspiracy to commit murder, fraud, and embezzlement. The Chen business empire had collapsed, and Victoria's carefully constructed life had crumbled with it. For Alex, his mother, and the Richmond family, the revelation had been devastating but also liberating. The arranged engagement had always been more about business than happiness, and its dramatic end had forced the family to reevaluate their priorities. Catherine, to everyone's surprise, had taken Maya under her wing. Not to change her, but to help her navigate the complex social world she'd been thrust into. You don't need to be like us, Catherine had told Maya during their first private conversation. You just need to be confident in who you are. Maya had moved into a modest apartment near the university. Alex had wanted to set her up somewhere grander, but Maya insisted on maintaining some independence. Tita Rosa had finally received proper medical care, and her arthritis was now managed with better medication. She'd retired from sewing, now spending her days tending a small garden and watching telenovelas with her building's elderly community. Dante's art studio had become a sponsored space, with the Richmond Foundation funding its transformation into a community art center. Dante ran workshops for underprivileged children, giving them the opportunity Maya wished she'd had growing up. As the gala began, Maya delivered a short speech, her voice shaking slightly at first but growing stronger. Art has always been my escape, she said, looking out at the crowd of Manila's elite and, more importantly, at the scholarship students they'd invited from various schools. It was how I made sense of a world that often felt too harsh, too difficult, too unfair. She paused. But art isn't just escape. It's witness. It's testimony. These paintings are my witness to the dignity, strength, and beauty I've seen in the everyday lives of ordinary Filipinos. The applause was thunderous. Several collectors approached immediately, interested in purchasing pieces. Maya had agreed to sell most of the collection, with proceeds going to the Foundation's Arts Scholarship Program. Later, as the gala wound down, Alex found Maya on the museum's balcony, looking out at Manila's lights. "Successful night," he said, joining her. "I sold 23 paintings," Maya said, still in shock. 23. That's more money than I made in the entire last year. You're talented. The world is finally seeing what I saw from the beginning. Maya leaned against the railing. "Sometimes I still can't believe this is my life. 3 months ago, I was freelancing graphic design and worried about paying rent. Now you're what? I don't even know how to describe it. With you but not quite. Part of your world, but still separate. It's like I'm living in 2 realities at once." Alex was quiet for a moment. Then he pulled a small box from his pocket. Maya's breath caught. "Alex. Before you panic," he said with a smile, "this isn't an engagement ring. Not yet. We agreed we needed time, and I'm keeping that promise." He opened the box to reveal a delicate necklace with a small paintbrush pendant in gold. "This is a promise," he continued. "A promise that no matter how complicated things get, no matter what pressures we face, I will always see you. Not as a princess, not as the girlfriend of a prince, but as Maya. The artist. The woman who saved my life." He fastened the necklace around her neck. "The woman I love." Maya touched the pendant, tears in her eyes. "I love you too. Even when you're annoyingly romantic." "Especially when I'm annoyingly romantic," he corrected, and kissed her. Inside the museum, Catherine watched them through the window, Sophia at her side. "Think they'll make it?" Sophia asked. "I think," Catherine said slowly, "that they have something rare. Something real. The kind of love that doesn't just survive obstacles, it's strengthened by them." "You really like her, don't you?" "I do. She's good for him. She makes him think beyond business and duty. She makes him human." Catherine smiled. "Plus, her art is magnificent. We couldn't ask for a better representative of the foundation." 6 months later, Alex did propose, not at a fancy restaurant or public event, but in Maya's studio, surrounded by her latest paintings. She said yes immediately, and they decided on a small, intimate wedding at a chapel in Quezon City, the same neighborhood where Maya had grown up. Catherine wanted something grander, but Alex and Maya insisted. "This is who we are," Maya had explained. "Not the prince and the pauper trying to be something we're not, but 2 people who found each other when we needed it most." The wedding was beautiful, simple, heartfelt, and filled with people who mattered. Family, friends from Maya's old neighborhood, artists from Dante's studio, and even Mrs. Chen from the old apartment building, who cried through the entire ceremony. As Maya walked down the aisle on Tita Rosa's arm, her aunt beaming with pride, she caught Alex's eye. He looked at her like she was the most precious thing in the world. And she realized that this was her fairy tale, but not the sanitized, impossible version. This was the real kind, messy, complicated, full of challenges, but absolutely worth fighting for. When they exchanged vows, Alex promised to honor not just her, but the woman she'd been before they met, the struggles that had shaped her, the dreams that drove her. Maya promised to see him not as a prince, but as the man who'd fallen into her life and changed it forever. "I now pronounce you husband and wife," the priest announced. As they kissed, their friends and family erupted in applause. Tita Rosa wiped away tears. Catherine smiled despite her own tears. And Dante shouted, "Finally!" The reception was held in Dante's newly renovated community art center, transformed with simple but elegant decorations. There was no 7-course meal or champagne tower, just good Filipino food, heartfelt toasts, and dancing that lasted until dawn. As Maya and Alex swayed to their first dance, she leaned her head on his shoulder. "No regrets," he whispered. "Not even one. Even though you're now technically a princess?" Maya laughed. "I'm a princess who still takes the jeepney sometimes, argues with you about spending too much money, and gets paint on everything I own. My favorite kind of princess." They danced in comfortable silence, 2 people from different worlds who'd created something new together. something that belonged to neither his world nor hers, but to both of them. Outside, Manila's night sky stretched endlessly above them, full of stars and possibilities. Somewhere in the city, a young girl was probably sitting in a cramped apartment, sketching her dreams, hoping for a better life. Maya hoped that girl would see her story one day and know that dreams, real, complicated, beautiful dreams, could come true. Not through magic, not through luck, but through courage, kindness, and the willingness to help a stranger when they needed it most. Because sometimes, saving someone else's life meant saving your own. And that's the end. Did you love this story? Smash that like button if this touched your heart. Subscribe for more incredible stories like this one. Comment below. What was your favorite part of the story? Did the ending satisfy you? What story should we tell next? Share this complete story with everyone who loves romance, drama, and happy endings. Thank you so much for joining us on this journey. Your support means everything. Until the next story, take care and remember, love can find you in the most unexpected places. Red Heart.